All right, guys, I'm doing it. I'm going there. We're talking about interest rates. Before anybody comes at me, I just want to say that obviously I'm not a lender, I'm not a mortgage person. My husband is. and I do help on average about 100 families a year buy and sell houses, and so I definitely feel like I have a good pulse on this particular topic, but I do just want to say that I am not a professional mortgage broker or lender. I am a realtor. However, and almost more importantly, the space that I really want to talk from today is as a consumer, as an investor. Clayton and I almost every single year buy another investment property, whether it's here, whether it's in Colorado. We are still very much active participants personally in real estate. So it's not like I'm encouraging everybody out there to go and suck it up and, get the 7% interest rate. We are actively buying properties too in this market, knowing that rates will not stay like this forever and we can refinance because you date the interest rate, you marry the house. So I would rather get a house now and get it for under asking price, or get the seller to give me some credits in this market, rather than wait for interest rates to drop and have to offer over asking price or not get any concessions from the sellers. But that's a different video. Today, we're going to talk about interest rates. And I printed off some statistics from the Honolulu Board of Realtors just to keep me on track and to definitely know that I am quoting you guys, 100% accurate statistics. So the big thing right now, everybody is out there saying, oh, interest rates haven't been this high in 20 years, which is true. But also, the real estate market is very cyclical. So the last time that interest rates were this high was about 20 years ago. The last time before that was about 20 years before that. So about 35 or 40 years ago. So we're talking about the mid 80s and the mid 2000s are the respective timeframes that we're talking about. So in the mid 2000s, like from 2000 to like 2006, 2007, interest rates were between about 5 and 8%, which is what we're seeing now as pretty common. In the 80s, for almost all of the 80s, interest rates were 10% or higher, which is really crazy. Something else that I've heard a lot of people say as well, yeah, interest rates were higher, but home prices were less, people made less money, et cetera, et cetera. And, that's all true. But as home prices have gone up, so has pay, so has income. So yes, homes were cheaper back in the 80s, but people were also making less money. So I kind of feel like that's a moot point, or those two things kind of cancel each other out. But for Hawaii specifically is what I want to talk about, because that's the market we're in. That's the market I help people buy and sell homes in. So talking specifically about the early to mid 2000s, because that's obviously the closest data that we have. In 2000, again, interest rates were between 5 and 8%. In 2000, for single family homes, we saw 1.7% appreciation. 2001, same thing, 1.7% appreciation. In 2002, 11.7, then 13.4, 21.1, 28.3. Then if you want to look at townhomes for those same years, we see 5.2, 1.4, 8.3, 12.8. You get the picture. If you want to go back to the 80s, mind you, interest rates were 10% or higher. We're still seeing that homes here in Hawaii are gaining value, even in those markets. Single family homes in 1986 went up 7.9%. Townhomes went up 2.1%. That's not always the case. There are some years where townhouses gain value faster than single family homes. This year will be one of them. The last market statistics, this I'm taking off the top of my head, so if I'm off a little, don't quote me. I can get you the actual numbers if anybody's curious. But the last market statistics I think that I saw come out for October was that single family homes year over year are down about 5%, but townhomes are up about 5%. So looking at those numbers, because everybody out there I know is like, see the market's going down. For single family homes, you're right, it did go down. But let's say you're a military family and you've been here for 3 years. So you bought a house in 2021. 2022, 2023. Those are the 3 years that you've owned a home here in Hawaii. In 2021, your single family home gained 19.3% in value. In 2022, your single family home gained 11.6% in value. So even if your single family home does go down 5% and you're selling at that time, you are still walking away with a very substantial profit, because in Hawaii for the last 20 years, we've never seen 2 back-to-back years of market losses, which means even if you own a house for only 3 years, dollars to donuts, 2 of those 3 years are going to be appreciation, if not all 3 years. So yes, interest rates are high. Interest rates are higher than they've been in 20 years. But even 20 years ago, when they were this high, homes statistically here in Hawaii were still gaining value. All of that being said, something else that really every buyer needs to let sink in right now, sellers are giving credits or concessions to buyers to purposely buy down your interest rate. It's called a 2-1 buy down. Google it, message me about it. Let's talk about it. That means a seller is going to give you as a buyer cash, part of their profit. They're making, pretend the credit is $10,000. Credit is just another word for like cash. So this seller is going to give you a $10,000 credit, let's say, hypothetically. And that $10,000 credit, your lender is going to use to buy down your interest rate 2% for the first year that you own this home. So let's say interest rates are 7%. You're going to start at 5. For the first year you own the home, your interest rate's 5%. The second year you own the home, it's 6%. It's not until year 3, which keep in mind, all of my clients are military. Year 3, you're PCSing, you're selling the house anyways. Year 3 is when you would see today's hypothetical 7% interest rate. And that's if you haven't had a chance to refinance during that time. So essentially the seller is paying for you to have a lower interest rate, which is crazy. The last time sellers were giving concessions like this in the Hawaii market was the 3rd of February. I don't know of a time in the last 6 years that I've been an agent in this market that I've seen sellers giving credits like this. However, it's okay because as we see from the data, 19% and 11% appreciation for single family homes, those sellers are still making a damn good profit, even though they're giving up a small portion of it. And that's why our market here really hasn't stalled or slowed down the way that mainland markets have. So obviously, one video is not going to alleviate all questions or concerns that people have, but this is really important information to get out there because there's a lot of fear mongering. There's a lot of people who aren't pulling the trigger on buying homes right now. And you as a buyer are missing a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of a market that normally isn't in favor of a buyer, but it is right now. So let me know if you have more questions.